Good evening, everyone. As you've already heard, switch my slides. You've already heard, I'm Fiona Kerns. I'm a Toastmaster, as you've gathered, because I'm ambassador for Pathways programme. I'm currently a Toastmaster in Saffron Walden Speakers, which is a club that's less than a year old. Before that, I was a Toastmaster up in Norfolk, Durham Articulated Speakers, and I helped set up Anglian Advanced Speakers. If you're up that neck of the woods, go visit it. Got great clubs up there. Before that, I was a Toastmaster in Dublin, in Ireland. Dublin Toastmasters, the oldest club in Ireland, was past president of that. And I helped set up Uncensored Speakers, which is a club that meets on Friday night in Dublin. So if you happen to be in Dublin for the weekend and didn't get your Toastmasters fixed during the week and you didn't think it was terribly sad to go to Toastmasters on a Friday, actually I'd highly recommend it, because you're guaranteed a really, really fun night, and you can go for drinks and whatever afterwards if you want. So that's a little tip for you. But I'm not here to talk about me, I'm here to talk about Pathways. Have you heard of Pathways? Seen some nods, some... Don't worry. Hopefully, if you've heard of it, I'll tell you a bit more. If you haven't heard of it at all, hopefully you'll be able to pick up some ideas of what the new programme is. Pathways is the new education programme in Toastmasters. That's it. It's going to be launched on the 20th of March, so it's coming really, really soon. Your VPE will be your main point of contact in the club, and I heard the president mention the club officer training. I will also be at the club officer training, and I will be doing an expanded session designed for the officers, so the VPE and other committee members. If you've got nitty-gritty details, I'll be helping you with that, and we'll be going into a little bit more detail of how you manage the system. I'm the ambassador. You will also have a Pathways guide, because the new system it has the option of doing a lot of things online as well. Everybody will need to log on to the system, so if you need help with that, your guide will help you with that and navigate the whole system. I do have a little poster over there that kind of gives a summary of what the programme is all about. I'll leave that there for if maybe not quite that position, because I think you need the whiteboard. I'll move it someplace else. But I'll definitely be here at the break. I love the fact there's a brewmaster. I have about 20 cups of tea a day, so I'll be partaking of that, and I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. I'll run through my slide deck. It's slower than my laptop here. In the education programme in Toastmasters, I think the key thing about the...
You're not on the laptop, you're on the computer.
Oh yes, that's it.
Next week you should go ahead.
I was thinking, that was funny. That's so bad. Thank you, my able assistant. So, Toastmasters, the education programme as it stands at the moment. So what Toastmasters have done by consulting their members all over the world is they've sort of picked out to make it clear for us kind of what the core competency of Toastmasters is. And those are public speaking, which is, I think, for many of us, is the primary reason to come to Toastmasters. It certainly was for me. Even though I've participated, we all do, in the leadership programme, I didn't come to Toastmasters because I thought, I want to be a great leader, even though that comes out of it. So it's public speaking, interpersonal communication, leading and managing, and leading strategically, and then building confidence. And over the right week, those are picked out as well. So 5 core competencies, and the programme builds the first 4 in terms of actual skills that you develop, and through doing the programme you build your confidence. So rather than there being one programme that builds your confidence, it comes out of by doing the actual programme itself. And that's as it stands at the moment, without any change, any of those things. That's what the programme delivers to us. And a lot of, even though we've got this new programme, many things won't change. Essentially, your meeting will stay the same, but how we do some things will be different. So there will be more of an emphasis on mentoring and coaching, and I think, Derek, you mentioned that you've done mentoring and probably other things as well here as well, and many of us as experienced Toastmasters may have been a mentor, or certainly when we signed up we might have asked for a mentor. That will be formalised or built into the programme a little bit more than it is, and that's one example of how, while it's there at the moment, this is more integrated. And part of putting together the programme is about really bringing all the things that we're doing already together and putting them in a more integrated way. For our guests who haven't joined yet, and if you haven't, you should join immediately, if not sooner. The new programme, currently we have Competent Leader and we've Competent Communicator, 2 tracks. The new programme essentially just brings those together as one. So a great many things will stay the same in terms of how the meetings work, and the focus of Toastmasters is staying the same. But how it works and how we do those things will change. I'm not going to go through them individually. We don't want to skip to the paths yet. So many of these are the benefits as articulated by Toastmasters. And Toastmasters International, for our guests, we're a member, we're a club affiliated with Toastmasters International. Toastmasters is all over the world. I mentioned if you go to Dublin you can visit a club, but actually you can go to a Toastmasters club in almost any country in the world. So Toastmasters is the organisation and they're all over the world. The benefits are the self-paced learning, but actually we have that as it stands at the moment too. You've got the flexibility to choose what you want to focus on. There's a lot more access to material. I mentioned earlier it being online, there's a lot more video associated with it. The paths that I'll actually come to are more detailed. I know for myself, I found in some of the clubs I've been in, as an example, individuals might join because they want to do a wedding speech. And they come and they just do a wedding speech and then they leave. And I've always thought, do the club miss out because they only do that? Do they miss out because they only do that? Not sure. But I suppose the main thing for me it highlighted was that people come for slightly different reasons to Toastmasters, and the new paths allow individuals to pick the one that suits them best at their particular time. And coming out of the research, and I think this is one of the key pieces, certainly for me, is that the idea of Pathways, this programme, it's about real world applicability. So, for example, one of the projects is about putting together podcasts and blogs and stuff like that. And it's not just about doing one podcast and one blog and being like, we're all done now, that's that project out of the way. They really help you focus on how you actually do that and maintain it. Now that might not be for everybody, but for me it crystallises how this could maybe help you in your business, in your job, in your career, in your community. Definitely in your community, because it seems like everybody here volunteers tremendously. So there's a lot of benefit on that side of things, and I think they've tapped into a lot of really good things from that perspective. Now we come to the paths. So in the new programme, Pathways, there are 10 paths. And these will all go live on the 20th of March. So every member here in this club, on the 20th of March, they might move slightly, it could be the 29th, but it's going to be in around there. It's not going to be pushed out much further than that. Every member of Toastmasters, if you're a member of this club now, you will have access to the current programme, and you will have access to one new path. So when this goes live on the 20th of March, you will log on to toastmasters.org with your username and password. If you don't have one already, have a look into that, and we can help you with that as well. So you should have one. If you haven't logged in a while, or you think you don't have one, that's something to be mindful of now. There is an assessment tool, so you can go in and answer questions, and this is something that our new members, when you join it as well, can go on and you fill out a little questionnaire, so to speak, about why you joined Toastmasters and what you want to get from the club. And from that, it will make a recommendation for you. So it'll say, these 3 paths are ones that you could consider. And so if they say you should do presentation mastery, strategic relationships and motivational strategies based on your answers, you can pick those, one of those, 2 of those, Or you can go, nah, I want to do effective coaching because that's what really drives me, and I want to do leadership development. That's okay, you can do that as well, there's no issue with that. This is just based on your feedback and your input. You can pick any one of these 10s. So when we launch the 20th of March, you can fill out your assessment, current members, it'll make a recommendation, and you can start that path. And you can start that path and go, I'm not going to bother with the current path if you want, or you can say, that's nice, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm going to finish and work towards something. So for current members, if you're on a path at the moment, so you might be working towards your competent communicator, competent leader, any of the existing programs. So the question for you then is to have a think about, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep on the current track? Do you want to switch over to the new track? What would work for you? Or do you want to keep doing both in tandem?
Can you do that?
Yes, you can if you choose. Yeah, absolutely. I suppose one of the key things would be, as VPEs, Ella, will be if a member... am I correct to know I'm VPM? Oh, pardon me, I thought you said VPE. I apologise. Is our VPE here? No. No. Okay. Is that Kevin?
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine. Okay. So for Kevin in particular, and hopefully he'll be at the cot and I can chat to him separately. In particular, if you have members that want to become a distinguished Toastmaster, so for our guests, distinguished Toastmaster is the highest accolade in Toastmasters. There's quite a bit of work involved in it. The current programme as it stands, are you a DTM?
I am so close, so this is really...
Okay, so this would be very relevant. So this is...
Two speeches. Three things and I'm done.
Okay, you can close that off. Okay. So Derek is probably okay. The current programme as it stands will finish in 2 years' time. So a minimum of 2 years from the 20th of March. I imagine it will be June 2020, it'll be the cut-off. Don't hold me to that. It's only a minimum 2 years from when we switch over this time. So if somebody is very far along and want to get their Distinguished Toastmaster Award, the VPE and the committee may want to work with that person to help them get it if it's a tight time frame. If it's just a couple of speeches, that's probably doable.
Well, the other part's not so easy. I'll talk about it in break.
Yeah, so if there's something more involved with that, then you might need help from the club and others around you to help you actually get that.
I've had help, it didn't work.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it.
Yeah, so to look at if there's a way of doing it.
Yeah.
There should be, if you're a certain way along or a good bit along, I don't want to focus on it too much, but there should be a way of helping you get there. But we can look at that maybe individually or separately. So from 20th of March, every member has access to one new programme, one new path, absolutely free. That's absolutely fine. It will be all online, that path. So on the new programmes, every new path are $25, and if you want printed material, it's an extra $20. So it's up to you. You don't have to print, you can print if you want. But everybody gets one new path online, as in when we launch on the 20th of September. For me, I'm kind of pretty excited about this because I probably want to do about 8 of them immediately. And I don't have access to them yet, and I can't wait. You may see online on Facebook that some individuals are already operating on these at the moment because they're on online clubs or they're working in districts that have already rolled this out. Toastmasters all over the world, so in certain parts of the world, have already started on this programme as it stands already. Any questions on what I've covered so far?
The cost. Is that borne by the individual member or by the club?
It will be down to the club to decide how you want to do that, but it will be it's like when you buy or when you go and do, when you go onto a new program, you usually pay extra for that as it is. So you'll pay your subscription fee and you'll pay your pathway fee. So it depends how your club cost it out. Do you just charge your members Toastmasters fees, or do you charge extra?
Yeah, a bit of extra.
A bit of extra.
Yeah. So that would be a decision for the committee as to how you actually manage that. You may not want to charge that much more, but I'm not going to say that that's what you should do. It may be that the fees, the $45 that you pay every 6 months, that's the bit that you add a bit of a cushion onto. But again, that's something that you can decide, because that's something that's fixed for everybody. Whereas to choose a path, you might do a path in a year, somebody else might take 4 years because it's all self-paced. So that would be something to think about. Yeah. Eric?
Yeah. Currently working through the booklet, when we do a particular book and evaluation, we fill out that book so that evaluation page has been filled out. But a lot of people want to repeat it because they feel they need to improve a bit more. So I think currently what they do, they photocopy somebody else's book on that particular page for the evaluator to do. But how would we get on with this new system?
You could print it out online if you wanted. You could do it online and
give it to the evaluator.
Yeah, if you want. And in fact, with this program, ahead of time, if you know who your evaluator is, I know that's not always possible, but you can link them up online and they can actually print out the requirements themselves as the evaluator, and they can do that.
So even if they're repeating, they'll still have a blank page to it.
They can print out that project. Because most, I suppose of the districts who have rolled this out, almost all the stuff is done online now. That seems to be a preference for individuals. So evaluation, and that's actually a really good point. So how the evaluation works if you don't have your book, the evaluator has access online, as does the individual. So you fill out the evaluation, and that evaluation then can be put back up on your account afterwards. But there's also things like badges, and other members can give you feedback on your speech through the online program as well. So yeah, there's like 5 different badges that you can say, so kind of newbies and star of the evening, that kind of thing, to add encouragement to the individuals as they go along, and that can be done online as well. So while some of the items, evaluation will still be, we evaluate as we do now, but some of the background piece can be done online as well.
So you probably, when you come along to get our talk, often we don't know who our evaluator is, so we should probably print off an evaluation form on that particular talk to give to them, so they've got something to work on.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, I would say so, unless you thought you've got really good Wi-Fi access here. Maybe you do, but not everybody will. Something on evaluation?
So I was going to say, can those evaluations that have been handwritten be scanned to be uploaded, so you don't have to type it all up?
Yeah, for the speech evaluator.
And if you're not on Pathways, but you have a login, you can still evaluate someone on Pathways who is, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Cool.
Derek, and then exactly.
Yeah, I have 2, but I'll wait till you. It says, will the assessments that you described, will they be pushed to the members? Or is it something we're going to have to go look for?
In what?
You said that we're going to have we have these opportunities to select a pathway on the 20th. Will that information be pushed to us from Toastmasters International, or is it something we're going to have to hunt down?
Short answer is I don't know. I imagine the district will send an email out when it's going live and tell everybody that this is now live and you can go online and do it. Patricia has already, our program quality director who looks after the education side of things, did send an email there in the past week. If not in your inbox, maybe check your spam filter, just giving a highlight of that, and I would imagine she wouldn't miss telling everybody when it goes live. It's the biggest thing that we've done in, I don't know when, since about 1940 when they started the basic manual, but yeah, and 70 since they updated it. So this is a huge thing.
Members that join before the 20th of March, do they still get the 2 old manuals?
I need to, yes they should. I'll confirm that to you because they do start on the current programme, so that should be the case. So I'm going to say yes because they're definitely starting the current programme, no qualms about that. If you join today, you're on the old programme, and like everybody else, on the 20th of March, you'll get the one new pathway as well.
Because there is a lot of value in those 2 manuals.
Absolutely. And honestly, if I were somebody starting out, I think I probably would join now because those manuals are brilliant. But that's my personal take on it. Everybody decide for themselves. The manuals are amazing. Like, this is such top quality stuff that we get for very little dollars. pounds, euros.
So just to confirm, is it Toastmasters website you go onto, or Chelmsford.toastmasters?
No, so it's toastmasters.org. So for your club and all that, for your meeting details, certainly that's all done here. When you join, I'm confident you will, you'll get, you have already, have you? Super, great. And you've got your manuals and everything. Sorry, I thought you said you were a guest, sorry. So yes, you log on to toastmaster.org with your username and password. Have you done that already? Yeah. So when that comes up, then you'll be able to do the assessment. Will go live on the date, and then you fill out the assessment, and it makes a recommendation, and then you can pick which path you want, and you will be able to pick one of these that you can go for. Is there one you fancy already?
Not off the top of my head.
Currently, if we do competent leader, we'll get CL after a name or CC. How does that work with the pathways? Does all the that all gone, or?
So if you're a competent communicator, a competent leader, you will keep those. Absolutely, they're yours. They'll be after your name. Not me. So there will be, in the new programme, there are 5 levels.
Right.
So there's, and you get, and again, part of the reason for putting these together are what was happening with competent communicator, for example, and just to give a quick bit of background. A key driver of developing this programme is because such a small number of people are actually getting those awards. 10% get the competent communicator, 2% get competent leader, 0.5 or half of 1% get DTM. And so this programme is about helping people do more, so be more pointed about what they can do, but also give them awards and accreditations along the way. Sorry, Hugo, because I'm blocking your line of sight. So there are actually 5 levels as you go along. So there's basic right up to this D, which is your expert level, if you like. So as you go along, there's projects within it. So there's 3 to 5 projects within each level. So the first level, for example, has got 5 projects. So it'll be your icebreaker, it's feedback evaluation, and mentoring. I'm not 100% of that one off the top of my head, darn. And so to get level 1, where you get a badge and you get an award, that's the first piece, and they develop as they go along. These other 4 badges are the ones that you can give to your fellow members as you go along. So as you go along, you can get these awards as well, a bit like what you get when you get to competent communicator. You get your award in the post. This is part of it. So there are different levels as you go along. But if you retain any awards that you have already, certainly you keep those.
That's a great question now. Is this going to open up new opportunities for leadership roles in the club as well? Because the VPE is going to be overwhelmed with this.
The VPE is going to be busy.
They need an assistant VPE just to manage this.
I think they'll need help, particularly in the beginning. There's no question about that, because you're actually working 2 programs. But I think because a lot of it is online as well, I think there are advantages to that. The feedback coming through, and we have to see if it's the same here because it's different territory and so on, is that it's not as hard as it might seem to begin with. But certainly in a club like this, and I've been advised it's completely dynamic and amazing, and I think that rings through from what I've seen already, help for the VPE would be beneficial. And I think at the COT, if the committee, if they can help as much as they can, an eye on who might be VPE next year would be something to keep an eye on in particular, as to that would be ideal if there's somebody thinking they want to do that to help the current VPE with that. But there isn't an additional role within the club, if you like. You will have myself as ambassador, and you will have a guide that will help the VP and assistant VPE, if you have one, put this together as well. I want to just keep moving a little bit. Maybe we won't spend too much on that, but maybe in the new programme, we're talking about the DTM and the current programme. In the new programme, this is what will allow you as members to achieve the highest award, the DTM. That's the one accreditation that will remain the same. So you can get a DTM at the moment, and in the new programme, the highest accolade is a DTM also. And that's 2 learning paths that we mentioned over there. Serve as a club officer, VPE, ideal opportunity. Serve as club mentor or coach. Be a club sponsor, do Speechcraft or the Youth Leadership Programme. Serve as a district officer for 1 year. So experienced Toastmasters can see that this is very similar to what it is at the moment. And complete the Capstone DTM Award. Again, which is very like the high performance leadership as it stands at the moment. Individual, so this is within the new programme. They've brought the leadership and the communication awards together, and that's how you achieve the DTM. The pricing, I've mentioned, the first panel is free, the second panel is 20, and then if you want to print it, it's 25.
Sorry, can I ask, with the first one, with the current system, when you complete Competent Communicator, you get an advanced manual free.
Mm-hmm, yes.
That no longer the case under the system. You get one free path, and then going forward, any additional paths you must purchase.
Yes. So what I would say is that anybody that's a member now, even if you're thinking, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing at the moment, I'm not so bothered about the path, I'm going to leave that for a year or two, start it now, select it, because then you have it, because it's free to you now. But there's going to be a point where it's free to current members now, but in 6 months' time, if you haven't taken up the opportunity, it may not be. So for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. When it goes live, I'm going to pick the one I want, and then I have that, and it's mine. Again, to focus on what will stay the same is your club meetings. You're still going to have your prepared speeches. You're still going to have your table topics, the meeting rules, the club officers, the self-paced learning. A lot of what we're doing is the exact same. This is just bringing it together, the leadership and the communication all together in one, together to integrate it a lot more than it is at the moment. Have you a question, Card? Are there any final other questions?
Is there a time limit on any of them, or you can just take as long as you want?
Yes, it's self-paced, so you can take as long as you want. With the proviso, if you're on the current programme, you do have that 2-year limit to finish up what you're doing at the moment. So, in summary,
Yes. Two questions here. One is, how do you choose which pathway to pick? Because there's like several, about 8 or 10 there. Mm-hmm. And then I think, what the progression, like pathways to get these levels? What with that, like, what do you have to achieve for those?
Sure. So the assessment tool should help you pick the one that you want, but you can also go online and delve in more detail to see which one suits you best. So there isn't the time to kind of go into the nitty gritty just now, but you can go online and or just even look at those to give you a sense of what you want. Actually, if you start one and you think, it's not for me, you've got 30 days to go, I don't want it, I want something else, and flip back. So that, if you like. The levels are, they really go to basic to proficient, so they're just building what you're doing. There's roughly 3 to 5 projects within each level. Is that what you mean, or if I captured kind of the answer? And what I would say is, maybe it's a lot to take in, or maybe all perfectly straightforward, but the key thing is that, well, I think this stuff is just brilliant. I think it allows you to focus on what you really want to cover within Toastmasters and build on the levels as you go along. The fact that it focuses on mentoring quite a bit, I really like that, because I think actually it's one of the strengths of Toastmasters as it stands already, and I think bringing that in and making it a little bit more involved in the programme is a really good thing. If there's anything I haven't covered, by all means ask me at the break, ask your VPE. There's not a limit on that. If you've got questions, you think of them during the week, certainly that's fine.
So each pathway's got 5 levels.
Yes.
And each level's got 3 or 4 projects.
Yes.
So a pathway would be approximately then 15 to...
Yeah, it's about 14. Yeah.
About 14,
yeah,
okay.
Roughly.
And we'll do 2 of those.
2 of those, along with the other projects, to get your DTM. So the capstone project if that's what you have in your head, is along the lines of the high
Just not do the
performance.
maths, that's the maths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is one. There is more information online, and I'm happy to go through it in more detail with you.
Just real quick, there are a number of people in this club I know who are in advanced communicator and leadership. Will at some point in time they be able to convert those towards the DTM on these programs, on these pathway programs?
Are you talking about club officer and?
Well, there's a number of people I know who have advanced communicator bronze and silver,
Yep.
and or leadership bronze and silver. And at some point in time in the next 2 years, they may want to convert those over to a pathways. Is there a proviso?
No,
for that?
there isn't
You
a
have to either
conversion.
finish it or start
Yeah,
the new
I start again. Now, if they're doing roles at the moment, it is possible to use some of those in the new pathways if they haven't been used for existing programs. So, but if that's the case, that would be something definitely discuss it with your VP to be absolutely sure that that's happening for you. So, existing ones don't transfer over to the new program. Best thing is just to finish them off with the help of your VP.
If it first you can.
If you can. But if you're not sure, let me know. My time is up. Thanks so much for your time and for listening. If you have any questions, I'm here at the break. Happy to answer any questions and hope to see you again soon. Certainly if you're at the COT, I'll definitely be there. Thank you.